Hello and welcome, football fans. We are here and we are live with another exciting edition, the last week of the regular season here with the Michigan Panthers podcast. There you go. A couple more times for the people. I got a new mouse and it clicks really well, folks. I love it. I love it. Also, I can read minds. I know what you are thinking. Who is that mustachioed man screaming in my ears about spring football? Well, I'll tell you.
You ever made out with a tugboat?
Boop. I'm FBI tugboat caster, host, interviewer extraordinaire, now podcaster, right? Mostly do commentary for a living. I'm also not restricted by what I do for a career, even though I love it. Here I am, talking about spring football with you guys. Absolutely love it. Last week of the regular season, bam. Let's look at the topics here and now. Yes, first off, news, right? News. As it pertains, honestly, not a whole lot of news in case you've missed the entire season so far. My team, our team, your Michigan Panthers have made it into the playoffs. There was an unfortunate case of scheduling, maybe a competition based on attendance. The Wayne State Community College graduation is going to be this weekend in Ford Field. So last few weeks after securing playoffs, we weren't really playing for a whole lot, fortunately, given that top seed retained home field advantage for what that's worth within the UFL, and the Birmingham Stallions confirmed to have had it. So this was a game that this is a Week 10 game between the Michigan Panthers visiting the Birmingham Stallions. That was already planned. Next week, not necessarily planned out, but regardless, we are neither here nor there. Well, actually, we're here without home field advantage perspectives, unfortunately. Coming into this is a preview, yes, of the USFL Divisional Championship next weekend. Recording here on the 3rd. That'll be going down on the 8th, I believe. Yes, the 8th. That is Saturday, June 8th. Let's see, recording this early because my brother's getting hitched. I'm going back for little mountain getaway, the bachelor party, the weekend before this upcoming weekend. I'm flying out in a couple of days, and then the big wedding to my brother's awesome partner, who he loves dearly and is awesomely fucking awesome. Let's see, we are looking at coming into this, obviously not a whole lot to play for. I gotta say, Birmingham Stallions. Shame on you guys. The birthplace of football or whatever you want to call it, college football, obviously huge down there. Not pro football, apparently so much. Absolutely pathetic Week 10 attendance. Again, this is like a minor shame. We are going to be like majorly shaming the Birmingham Stallions if there's not a turnout next week. A lot of people have talked about how, it's oversaturated. The USFL played, the vast majority of its games there, a couple years ago and then last year. But still, you look on Reddit and you see people, I've read multiple people talking about the local, the local marketing for it being basically non-existent. Now, is this a result of, is the bad attendance a result of bad marketing around? Is it a result of the people there just getting tired out on it? Is it a result of, I don't know. Birmingham's play, you can't say that. They're 9-1 on the season. Were favorites to take down the UFL championship before the season even started. Dropped one single game to the San Antonio Brahmas, where they really did look human. They looked mortal. I don't know what it is. So I'm shaming our Alabama football fans. Not showing out to stuff like this. This also wasn't, unless I'm wrong, the stadium isn't super far out of the city. It's not hard to get to. Tickets are not that expensive. It is what it is. Other thing in the news before we actually get on into the highlights and whatnot, the review of Week 10. Two things. First, the Birmingham Stallions' new defensive coordinator, John Chavez, I believe. I hope I'm saying that right. Took a leave of absence. Permanent, from what I understand, leave of absence. Hope all is well, right? From the Twitter sphere and tweets and people replying and stuff like that. I don't believe there's a health issue or anything else like that. So very happy to hear that. Old doctor, right? What we had him last year for the Vegas Vipers, coming on in, new defensive coordinator for Birmingham. Well, let's see how this turns out. Starting here, yes, we are the very beginning of the game. Let's take a look at it.
Stallions on the move. It's Martinez throwing again. Finds Jay Sternberger up the sideline inside the 10.
Oh, wrong one.
Out toward the end. Sternberger reaches for it.
That was
No
supposed to
whistle
be
yet, and they
one of
mark it
these.
down
Not actually a
inside the
touchdown.
one.
Pretty darn close to it. Jay Sternberger,
Yeah,
crazy
ball
stuff.
pop
Also,
Sternberger.
so let's just watch together. Again, I have invited you guys to kind of watch along with it. I do my best not to like really indict the play before I see it, but yeah, well, so I'm trying to continue on with that.
The
So
sideline inside.
he is like,
It's Martinez throwing again, finds Jay Sternberger.
look. So he's up. This is a tall man. You can tell. Bam, ball pops out. There's not a part of him that's close. And that's the other side. The ball popping out on the other side. This should not be possession, right? Even if somebody gets on top of it.
And they mark him down inside the one.
I thought that a defensive player touching the ball here, which they definitely do after it touches the end zone. You tell me, folks. You tell me. Anyway.
Stallions go jumbo. Handoff is
CJ Marable's a running fridge, man. Seriously. Absolutely. Crazy stuff. Going for two. Going for two. Making an 8-point game. Lofted up. Easy peasy. But maybe you might have been thinking what others were thinking. Oh, I should pause this just for a second. First off, I prefer Mike Pereira over Dean Blandino. I'm also a commentator. What the heck do I know? They're gonna review this right here. Also, I did not watch a single second of this game. I was casting Halo literally all weekend. So just a little precursor there. I've gotten tidbits, information. Obviously, I've watched this before. I've shown it to you guys here and kind of like skip around from the highlights. Give you guys highlights of the highlights, right? The really impactful plays. But I did not watch this game live. So I've gotten plenty of input from the other UFM members. Big shout out. We'll talk about them a little bit later.
By the Birmingham Stallions. And then you go to Jordan Thomas, huge tight end / receiver.
Yeah, so we went to break, and remember, anything catch, no catch, scoring plays, line to gain, we can look at in the command center. We were looking at Thomas. He didn't have control of the football. This was a great look.
This is not holding a football like this is not exactly control, and then he didn't get 1 foot. Anybody unfamiliar? The spring football leagues went from 1 foot in the pass, like college rules, 2 feet this year, like 2 feet inside to be a catch. To be clear.
That during the break that the try was no good.
Stallions over the Panthers.
So our first drive here, Chris Blewett in. Amiz, I believe his name was, did get cut after making some crucial misses. Best player for the job, gotta say. You know what I'm saying? That's how these leagues survive. Get up to about 42, not too shabby. So this is Etling again. Etling starting. Cole Hicatini. Easy peasy. And this is just such a fantastic way to like start off the drive and whatnot, right? I think Cole Hicatini is like massively underrated, and I think that defenses don't pay attention to him as much and just fall back on a presumption that he's just going to be a blocker. McCreary here, by the way. McColburn was out for this game, as was Marcus Sims. Should have said that earlier.
McCreary around the right edge. After this play, I want to hear your perspective. You're down on that Birmingham sideline, seeing this line get pushed around. Let me hear what you think about it.
Couple short ones, just trying to establish the threat. Not to get it. That's Mariner. Number 14. Number 14 is the top target. Just a little bit of context as well. Mariner came into this game from last week. Now, granted, we weren't exactly playing one of the best teams in the league last week, but came in from last week. Highest targets on the day by like 3, I think, and caught all of them. 8 for 8.
On third down, it's Etling toward the corner. Nobody home.
Say that one again. Alrighty, so 4th and out. Jake Bates comes on out, 39 yards. That should be as easy as finding lint in your pocket for kicker like Jake Bates. So, on the board, first 8 minutes or so, 9 total points. Let's take a look at how Martinez goes this. Marable, running fridge with legs. Crazy stuff. He's like, Victor guy, Darius Victor on Memphis, right? They keep talking about thick thighs, save lives, blah, blah, blah. But talking about 2 stout, short running backs, which is exactly what a running back needs to be. You don't get much better than that.
Stallions, the top offense in the UFL. Martinez feeling the pressure, and he goes down.
Marino was back home, missed some time earlier this season.
So fat sack early against a Stallions offensive line that has been pretty hard to break into. So, let's reset, 2nd and 22. Give him the 2 times! That's what I'm talking about. Ah, I was so excited when I was watching that. Tornado, by the way.
He shows that he's dropping, then boom, up and inside. Great hand.
Bam. Let's skip forward a little bit. Perfect. Oh, here we go. So, we get the ball back.
Over the last several weeks from this Michigan Panthers offense.
After they punted
So
first.
they won 5 in a row with a rotating
This is Etling
cast of
again.
quarterbacks. This is Etling who converts.
15, that's Devin Gray, I believe.
So it's 2nd down and 20
Or no, Devin.
after a hold
We have
back
2
in the
Devins. I
first
always do
quarter.
this.
Etling's
Okay,
pass is
so
complete.
here's what I was talking. That's
Able to communicate as a
Quinn, number 12. No, it wasn't Quinn. Sorry. So there's a couple other instances. Let's look at this again. Like where and I've been negative on Danny Etling. We'll talk a little bit more about this. Danny Etling definitely looked better here. I think the idea was to start Etling and get Perkins some reps, some in-game experience, whatnot, keep him hot and whatnot. Just looking at the numbers, we'll go over them later from weeks past and now this week. If we're honestly trying to win the USFL divisional championship, well, I've said it last week. I really feel like Bryce Perkins is the best man for the job.
So it's 2nd down and 20 after a
Got to give the
hold
Justin
back in the
serves.
first
Perkins
quarter.
also like operating in the pocket like that and being more comfortable is something we have not seen in weeks past. But I got to slightly chide the play, and I'm saying this because this is something that occurs multiple times. I'm going to be pointing this out for the first time of several times that it
Down and
happens.
20 after a hold back
Right here, this is a bullet. If this was a bullet, one stride ahead, so that he's able to stay on his feet right here. There's no other defensive back. There's no safety, nobody out here. That's a cut right through here and then push it onto the other right side so this guy couldn't catch him.
quarter. Etling's pass is complete.
Like maybe 24 right here would have bumped him up or something like this, but that's at least a first down. 3rd and 2. McCrary right there, but fantastic hold. This right here, well, first of all, hey, Birmingham.
You're in the jungle now, baby.
We got a couple new sound bites. I love it. So, fantastic run by Etling. Who'd have guessed it when I woke up this morning? Giving Etling all kinds of props as of right now. Looked good on the passes. Again, this could, like, the literal previous play, in my opinion, could have been this. But one of the ways that I've been saying that Bryce Perkins is so much better than these other quarterbacks is that the way he sells handoffs. Let's watch this. And also, Bryce Perkins does a great job of like realizing commentators actually talk about it. And we'll watch a little bit on the highlights here, but he's just he does a really good job of thinking like a running back and reading the field and stuff like this, and then saying, oh well, could I make it farther, especially with a running back blocking ahead of me, then I could be me handing off this to this running back, whether that's Colburn, Wes Hills, or well, I'm not sure if Bryce Perkins actually played with Wes Hills. I think he did, like a little. Not 100% sure about that, actually. Whether it's Colburn or McCreary, that's what I'm saying. Or Totua. Totua? I hope I'm saying that right. So, sorry, been talking over it. So watch how he, bam, sees this, 28 gets hit, realizes, pulls that right back all the way up. Believe that's his longest. Give a second one for the people here. Little Danley Etling. Can we laugh a little bit about how he runs out here? Like, he's actually sprinting, but the way he's moving the ball so much, and then this right here, he tries to, like, high step in the end. I don't think he's actually trying to, like, you know what I'm saying? He's actually trying to, like, showboat or whatever else like that. Ha! I don't think he's trying to, like, show off or nothing like this. Like he's trying to high step so his ankles don't, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like the shoestring tackle type stuff. But still, like, you gotta laugh a little bit about. You know, it's just like a little bit funny. There are some quarterbacks who are better than running than others. And the way that his shoulders are going back and forth, like he's not like running like directly. I get it, he's trying to like stay mobile, but like there's other quarterbacks that's more natural for him. Let's just say that.
How about that drive for the Panthers?
This is if you've been watching the podcast past, and you'll remember this is we are, man, the Michigan Panthers versus the extra point. 1, 2, or 3 doesn't matter.
75 yards in 5 minutes even. They'll go for one from the 2-yard line, and it's Tawa. Conversion is good.
Who'd have guessed it? Tawa, by the way, not Toatua. His first name is similar. Not gonna butcher it. On the off chance you ever watched this, my bad. So yeah, a pretty good, taking the lead against Birmingham in the yeah, minute and a half of the second quarter, excuse me. Not too shabby. Let's go ahead and get a little bit forward. Here we go. We get the ball back after they, 3 and out.
Bryce Perkins expected to start the second half and lead the Panthers the rest
This is
of the
still
way.
the second period.
Third down
And Danny Etling right here, perfect. But the guys, this is exactly what I'm talking about again.
Panthers the rest of the way. Third down and 8.
It's a bullet.
Etling.
If this is thrown a yard and a half towards the left pylon, right? Like here. You know what I'm saying? This defender's stride is broken. This guy is running like at a weird angle right there, and it just would have been a foot race. Just watch it again in real time. Bam, like right here. Okay, no, sorry. So 22's stride was not broken. It's a safe ball.
Mariner brought in all
I love that.
injuries at receiver, so Siosi Mariner says,
Easy.
okay,
Oh, here we go. They give it in like minor
yes,
slow-mo.
I'll take it. So
Fantastic.
the process
And this is also kind of like over
and
Seven's
he
head. This is a
gets
little bit
ready for
dangerous.
that
But yeah,
contact
22 would have gotten there. Maybe with a little bit of blocking. Maybe it just been a little bit of contact on a full tackle. Whatever. That's theory crafting at its worst. Oh, yeah, here we go.
USFL. Here's Etling. Again, they bring the heat. He spits it out. McCrary was on it for a second. The ball is still loose.
Oh, that's right.
Spits it out. USFL.
Sorry. 2 seconds. Alrighty.
Here's Etling. Again, they bring the heat. He spits it out. McCrary was on it for a second. The ball is still loose. Has not been blown dead. A flag is down on the other side of the field. And now there's a pileup.
When's the last time you saw a fumble that went for that long? Went through like 4 different players. Went through like 4 different players' hands. Yeah, he's got to do a better job. He does get like kind of like picked up a little bit. Hang on, I'll pause it.
Here's Etling.
Like this right here, and that's what's known as throwing your weight down, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 here. That's 5. 54 might be 6, but like grabbed back by the 5th player that touched it. Crazy stuff.
And now there's a pileup.
Holding number 7. Defense. 5-yard penalty.
And so we get bailed out. Oh, is this a flag going our way and we're getting bailed out?
This could be your last drive.
Last drive of the quarter, of course, of the half.
Fires. Mariners open. He's got it. Touchdown Panthers.
Bam! Bam! Those are the kinds of lasers that we're looking for. Fantastic job by Danny Etling right here.
You have to have time for a play like this to work. Bad eyes by
Beep.
the defense
Breadbasket.
again. We talk about
Fantastic
defensive
stuff, right in the
coordinator.
numbers.
What are you going through in practice? How do you help adjust with what they're doing?
Love it. Love it.
You're in the jungle now, baby.
Panthers
Or
going
are
for
you?
one from the 2-yard line? They're not going to get it.
Another sack right there again. Hey, we got the extra point earlier. Going for one again. It'd have been nice. 17 would have been so much better than 6, right? Well, actually, I guess not really right. So 10 points is still 2 possessions. Whatever. I mean, to be fair, 11 is 8 and then 3. You know what I'm saying? Like it's 2 possessions, or yeah, it's 2 scores, excuse me. But like getting 6 and then 2 is not guaranteed in this league whatsoever. I think the best ratio that we have is like 50%, like something like that. All right. Again, let's just let you guys watch it. Martinez steps back, lobs it.
4 looking for Rodgers. Some contact and pass interference.
Full 15.
DPI Y3 full 15.
Pass interference number 3. Defense.
They're gonna
15-yard
replay it.
penalty.
You tell me.
Automatic
Maybe I don't know enough about this shit. Oh, no, they're not gonna replay it. So, right here, no pulls, just literally puts his body in between the receiver and the ball.
Their first 2 third downs. They've missed their last 4 looking for
Like, restricts his movement, like, you know what I'm saying? Like restricting movement or catchability or whatever else like that, playing ball. I don't know how you play the ball better than just simply putting your body in front of it. If he'd put his hand there and knocked it down, would it... I don't know. And obviously, this is they're marching down the field very beginning of the 3rd period. And gotta say, sell it a little bit. Sits down in his... You're a grown man sitting down with your arms out like this, like begging to get bailed out, whatever. Whatever.
Full 15. DPIY3, full 15.
Crazy.
Pass interference.
Oh, sorry.
Rogers.
Next play. Dumps it out.
A little screen leads to a nice gain for Kevin Austin Jr.
Good play. Can't argue. And again, this is a highlights, not necessarily a Michigan highlights.
Initial drive. Marable finds a seam. Marable toward the goal line. Touchdown, Stallions.
No bomb necessary. I got nothing but respect for CJ Marable, y'all. I mean, the way he gets through right here, dude. That number 8 right here. Well, maybe I'll say this. So we've talked about this before. Mike Nolan, his aggression and stuff like this. This is the third period in the very beginning of it, but like they were talking about on the the Memphis Houston game, which is the only game I actually did get to watch this season. Like, why not? Like, you don't know when the challenge opportunities are going to come up again, so when you see something, pull it. I'm not saying this is like 100%, but that kind of seems like, I mean, maybe it's just pushing him. I don't know. Again, maybe I don't know much about this. 3-point game, Martinez right up the middle. That's going to be a 3-point game, like they said, 13-16 after Martinez gets it all the way in. Oh, yes.
It's good. Point conversion. Adrian Martinez keeps the ball, finds the end zone.
Crazy stuff. So starting out here, we got us getting the ball back, and as you see, Bryce Perkins after the, we march down the field a little bit. There's a flag to start us off on 1st and 20.
His first throw is on 1st and 20.
Gets out of the pocket.
This is what makes him really special.
Goes from a sack up to 4 or 5 yards, right? That's what I'm talking about, like comfortability with mobility. Comfortability with mobility. It's off the dome, folks.
They gave him 5 on 1st down. Empty set on 2nd and 15.
Gets out of another one. Fantastic shot. That's to Seose Mariner. Just look at it again. 3rd and 15. Gets away from 1. Gets away from 2. Hits onto the 3rd. 4 and 5 finally take him down.
He'll be short by about a yard and a half.
4th down, decision time. They make it. I thought they played this on here.
Perkins on 2nd and 10.
Another rush.
All the way. Turtles a man at the 30.
Now, this is not a play that I agree with at all. We'll get to the stats at the end. You see how many times Bryce Perkins. I'll go ahead and break the news here. That was his only attempted pass. Bryce Perkins does not play after this. Just, watch both of them. Whatever.
On 2nd and 10, running all the way.
Do not understand this. Do not understand this at all. So coming up here, right? You're already at the 1st down right there. You've already beaten the guy behind you. He probably knows he is there. There is 1 and then 2 off-screen defenders right behind him, right? Okay, maybe not a second one here, but 51 would have cut in regardless. And then there's 24 right there. Something's Junior, who got the fantastic tackle earlier, actually. Would have put him in. What do you gain? What do you gain by doing this? And you're risking our hands down best quarterback 8 days, right? Before they have to play in the USFL divisional championship. Again, even if you make it over, I guess you have a blocker here, maybe a couple more. I respect the drive. I respect the competitive mindset and attitude here to try and get as much as you can on the day. These hurdles are where many players have gotten injured. Obviously, NFL and just this season with UFL.
Turtles a man at the 30 and upended.
And even regardless, 31 still got him by the leg right there. If he goes higher and 31 grabs the leg and then he comes down on the ground, we're looking at Danny Etling being forced to play the entire playoffs.
E.J. Carter just clipped him, a gain of 18 for Perkins.
Okay.
This is the 3rd or 4th in the last several weeks.
Great right there.
QB runs. Why? Because he sees the field as if he's a running
Wait, did he actually get injured? Again, I didn't watch this.
So now he's going to get his. Why? Because he sees the field as if he's a running back. He sets up blocks. He hurdles defenders. So now he's going to get.
Again, I did not watch this. I am actually going to pause right now and bring this back and go and look it up and make sure that Bryce Perkins is not injured. Be right back. All right, through the magic of editing, we are back here. Went through and actually looked at the full game footage. He was down after that. Laying on the ground, stretching it out. They asked him if it was a cramp. He said, but he got up and walked off of his own volition. Overall, I'd have to say that's a terrible risk. This is the kind of play I would completely excuse being attempted in, next week in the actual divisional championship, the USFL divisional championship, before the UFL championship, June 16th, I believe it is. Bryce Perkins has not taken another snap the rest of this game. They don't really show it here on the highlights, but was not like carted off or anything else like that. And as he's mic'd up and he's talking to trainers and stuff like this, and doesn't sound too bad. This will be a situation that you have to monitor, 100%, 100%. Let's see. Oh, and we'll watch it again right here. Yeah, you know what? We'll just watch it. I'll preface it when we get there. How about that?
Of design QB runs. Why? Because he sees the field as if he's a running back. He sets up blocks.
Oh, that's what I was talking about. Sees the field as if they are running backs. So right here, we are 2nd and 7 from their 26, 25 and a half, or whatever, right?
16 for $130 and a touchdown, 3 carries, 31 yards.
Solid sell. McCreary runs up to just shy of the 20.
Seconds on the timer. Motion man is Samson Nakua. They hand it off McCreary. There's Stormy's prop, and there's a touchdown for Michigan.
There's Stormy's prop. They're talking about the bets they're taking still.
There is a penalty
but
marker.
There's a penalty. This is something that you're going to hear many times in the next 5 minutes.
Illegal shift. Offense. Not all 11
Talked
players
about
got set.
discipline coming into this, and we as Michigan, we have been shooting ourselves in the foot consistently. That was a touchdown. It was called back.
Tau is back in at running back. Etling looks, completes.
Okay.
Down to the 10-yard line.
5-yard line, or five-yard toss, 4 yards, so 3rd and 6, right?
That's pretty rare, and it'd be pretty cool.
That's a
Etling's
first
pass is
down.
complete. It's Quinn again.
So first down, we get up to 1st and goal. Let's see how many plays we spend here, okay? Like on the 1st and goal without an opportunity to get a first down.
Back-to-back catches.
And this is on the 4, we'll call it, 3.5.
Sets up the 9th play of the drive. A 1st and goal. Nakua, the motion man, again and again. A flag.
Bring Samson Nakua in.
Part of the snap. False start. Number 73.
It's 2 flags now.
5-yard penalty.
Right. One pulled back a touchdown. One pulled us back from 1st and like 4 yards.
Keeps it after the RPO. Dumps it down.
Hicatini.
Nice tackle. The tight end Hicatini caught it inside the 5.
I got 70.
Ineligible player downfield. Number 71. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
So we are still at first down, and now we are at the 14-yard line. Started at the 3.5.
At the 10. Etling gonna throw. 4-man rush. Pass incomplete. It's the running back McCreary.
Okay, fair enough. Attempted to McCreary right there just for a little shortage. We're on first down. Try and take second, from the 8 or whatever, right? Not against this. Rolling out, plenty of time, offensive line, and floats it right over to the. It puts it to the pylon. That's a different story. Into the 3rd period. Now it's the 4th period. That's why we flip. Right. First play of the 4th period here. 3rd and goal. Wide open, but
Mariner. For now, it's a touchdown. We'll check the penalty markers.
Holding number 79. Offense, 10-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
The last several weeks with
okay, so we go from the 15 or so, 16 maybe.
Right here, it's a power move. That edge.
That's what they call a hold.
The last several weeks with speed, but also with inside moves.
Oh,
right
okay,
here,
I
it's
see
a
what he's
power
talking about.
move.
Actually,
That
he's
edge
pulling
is
over there,
given
and
up
honestly, this
easily.
is not
He has
necessary.
no
Could have just
chance or
pushed
no
him.
choice but to try and hold, and so he has to have a
But blown coverage, that's a touchdown all day long. Alrighty, 3rd and goal from the 24. It looks like.
Now taken over 7 minutes.
4 flags.
Ends up with a 3rd and goal from the 24-yard line. They'll keep it on the ground. Toatawa cuts it back. Another flag behind the play.
Holding number 73. Offense, 10-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Insane, dude. Absolutely insane, dude. We're on their 32. We started from the 3.5.
They had a
Short pass, just try and get a little bit closer. Why not, right? Maybe he can break away. At this point, I would feel so like wind taken out of the sails. Yeah, screw it. I would try the same thing. Up and in. 44. Got plenty of distance on it. No, I'm not going to call it splitting the uprights, but we now have a 6-point lead. It's just, my goodness, man. My freaking goodness. Flags and, like, things that we've done a fantastic job of. Mike Nolan's done a great job of rotating players in and out, and best player for the job, everything else like this, right? And replacing starters when they get hurt, especially on these so-called skill positions. Running back, wide receivers have not had to do that for the tight end. Obviously, we have a revolving door of quarterbacks, right? We get 5 flags. 2 of them are to actually call back a touchdown, right? You could kind of say that the pass right there to Mariner, even though it's blown coverage and he's wide open, might not have happened without the hold. Maybe Danny Etling would have gotten away from it. He has seemed more mobile on the day. Who knows? That's theory crafting at its worst. Stallions march down the field. He got a minute and a half left or so.
Stallions in the giddy-up. Martinez slips. A flag comes down.
Too many players on the field. Defense.
Bro, what is going on, dude? This is day 1 shit. Holy crap. Like, it's also, like, the only way this would be worse is if these 6 flags in the past, well, again, this is the highlight. So that was 5 flags in that one that started at the end of the 3rd period and went on to the 4th, and now crucial time, red zone area, and it's another flag, and just like a, what I'm saying? There's like 10 minutes of game time in between here, probably more like 30, 40 minutes of actual real life time, IRL time, right? And it's just something so methodical and basic as too many men on the field. It's 12 men on the field. Good God. And especially after a sack, right? A technical sack, and he fell down, right? Marable right up the middle, first down.
First and goal from inside the 5.
And this is the same exact play that Sternberger started with, and now ends with. Fantastic. Can't. He's a talented player, tied up game. This is our chance to hold him, right? 1-point attempt. Why would you go for 3, right? Actually steps out, and funny thing is, it's the same exact spot. But okay, let's look at the spot, right? His feet are down right there, or his knee is down right there, right? Obviously, he has not been touched by anybody. If this was college, that'd be a dead ball. It's again theory crafting. Oh, if, what if, blah blah, whatever. Right. Is what it is. 1-point lead. We get 59 seconds. We have 2 timeouts left after using our super challenge. Still a little bit of life, right? Still a little bit of life. By the way, we have a kicker who has made 64-yard field goals and 61, or 64 twice technically with getting ice, blah blah, and the 61. That was for the walk-off win against the Battlehawks in week number 1, right?
The end zone yet again.
Oh, glory days! They'll pass you by, glory days.
They need about 20 or 25 yards. That's
Etling
not a good
sacked,
start as
which is
Etling goes down.
no bueno. No bueno.
Empty set. Etling's pass complete. It's
Mariner.
Mariner. He's going to stay in bounds. 4th down and 4.
30 seconds.
Four-man rush.
He stood on the
Etling's
side right there. We throw it right
pass
across the middle.
caught.
This is caught. Hikutini, once again. Cole Hikutini continuing to prove to be one of the most valuable players in this entire team.
4th down and 4. 4-man rush. Etling's pass is
Oh, they played this again.
For Mike Nolan in Michigan.
2nd and 1.
10
2nd and 1.
seconds left. Etling on the keeper.
Etling keeps it right here. Gets up. What is that? The 35?
The exchange down to the 35. Damon Lloyd, the tackle. 5 seconds
So
to play.
on the 35, you tack on you tack on 18 or whatever, right? So this is a 53-yarder. Yeah, 53-yarder.
Magic legs.
Right?
To cap the season with a win. The kick is no good.
I'm speechless for a couple reasons. One, the main reason is, okay, you miss the field goal, you lose the game, you're down, you're devastated. But there's a mulligan. And the mulligan is this. These two.
They're even laughing about how it doesn't really matter so much. But my goodness, Jake Bates used to have the
magic legs.
Cannot say that anymore, folks. Again, 64-yarders back-to-back with the icing, with the calling of the timeout to force the kicker to do it again at the very end of the game by Anthony Becht. In St. Louis, week number 1 to start off this team in fine, flashy form, get on all kinds of national radars, everything else like this. That was, of course, inside. That was in a dome, right? And I've been screaming, touting, wanting to talk about this guy, Jake Bates. Didn't mean to do that. Jake Bates, and how NFL teams should pick him up. As I've said to other people, though, NFL teams do not like consistency, especially the kicker position, right? And if Jake Bates stays another year in spring football, which I don't think would be a terrible idea, it will be because of that. He will not get picked up because of consistency. And also, there's 3 domes in the UFL. They play at home half that time. So we played 7 dome games. Only games we didn't play. 5 at home. And then we played St. Louis. We played St. Louis at home though. So that was a dome. And then we played 4 games maybe outside, and it did not look great. Yeah, just straightforward. Very, very shooting for the hip on this one, and 53 yards. I mean, he's got the distance. This is all just about accuracy, right? I would be surprised if Mike Nolan's having Jake Bates do almost anything but like kicking in hurricanes right now, man. Just getting reps, getting experience with the simple act of kicking with a little bit of wind, right? Just anybody who doesn't know, Jake Bates kicked in high school. First kick made for his professional career was with Michigan in week number 1. Never had any pro stuff, never kicked in college. So seeing that is like so exciting, and then coming in here, game on the line yet again. This is the second time we've lost this season off of missed field goals. We've also won, I think, 3 times off of, like, walk-off field goals by Jake Bates. The most exciting of which, obviously, against St. Louis, and then it was against Arlington as well at their house, and to get it. That was obviously a lot shorter though. So, any hoodles. Not ideal situations. Don't feel great about it. Don't feel great about the ending, of course. Feel great about our defense. 5 sacks here on the day. Let's talk about So biggest takeaways. There you go. Biggest takeaways from this game. First and foremost, we didn't even have to put Jake Bates in the situation. We could have gotten the ball back and ran the timeout, right? Just get a couple of first downs, which we did, right? This is theory crafting here, of course, but had just this absolute just cluster F of the end of the third period, that like 7 minutes that we spend in the red zone, and then ending it out first and 30, whatever it was, or not first, fourth and goal from the 30 something. It's even hard to like say out loud. It's hard to like formulate inside your brain, right? My God, 5 flags. All right there, 2 of them for touchdowns as well. This is theory crafting at its worst, obviously, but this is, if everything else was held the same, which you can never really say because, Birmingham would have played different if we were ahead or whatever else like that. But even forcing them to go for like the 4th and 12 or whatever else like that, had we been up another 6 points, I'm not guaranteeing an extra point conversion there whatsoever. So I'm just talking about 6. Crazy stuff. Wild. Jay Sternberger, big tip to the cap right here. The tight end, Cole Hicatini is fantastic for our squad. Jay Sternberger obviously has a little bit of a bigger role there with the Stallions and stuff. We have to do a better job of covering this man next year or next week. Our defense does, seriously. Next takeaway, 0 points in the third period. Part of that, this is kind of like point 1B here because part of the reason why that happened is because all of the flags at the end of the third period. We'll look at the flags and just the numbers of yardage that was taken away there, not counting the 12 points that we did not get because of those penalties. So Stallions rush defense, gotta say they did not look as good as time used to be. Let's actually just flip it on over here to our stats so I can kind of use this. Another takeaway, Etling looking much better. I'm not really happy with this 31 attempts, and obviously 52% completion is not fantastic. This would be closer to 60 had several of these catches been made on the flags that were taken back. I feel like a broken record in saying the same thing. But I'm feeling like Etling looked much better like overall, but mostly. And in large part because of the mobility, right? Obviously had some fantastic runs looking at the rushing. Where are we at? right, yeah, look in the rushing right here. 4 attempts, 36 yards. One of those was broken away for 23. So you take that away, 3 for 13 or something like that. Still not too shabby whatsoever. Bryce Perkins, every time he ran the ball, was electric. 12-yard average right there. Obviously, and again, I really did not like the whatchamajig attempt, the hurdle attempt right there. But it is what it is. Praying that he's going to be fine next week. In the rematch here for the USFL Divisional Championship. There you go. Yeah, let's full look at these. McCrary, the question's been answered. 8 attempts, which is enough to, I feel like, a good sample size here. Looked absolutely fantastic. Great. Mike Nolan continues to make this team great by filling in positions when players inevitably get injured. So. Can't talk about standout stats without this man right here. Targeted 12 times. Obviously, for whatever reason, the portal's kind of bugged. I feel like it should either count the catch, but for 0 yards in a situation where they make the catch and whatever else afterwards. Obviously, not the touchdown, but it gets called back. You shouldn't really count them being targeted in a situation where they're targeted and they make the catch, but it's called back on penalty. I believe that's where some of these targets or some of the disparity, right? The 5 catches not made here. I believe some of those were because of the flags. At least 2 of them, right? So 7 for 10 is sounding much better right now. 110 yards and a tutty, long for 46. We saw him break across the middle of this field. If Danny Etling can figure that out a little bit better and spaces receivers out just a little bit more based on the coverage and whatnot, I feel like Mariner and Devin Gray, maybe Trey Quinn and the one that I was kind of going back and forth on, but could have broken across the middle of the field and then just pointed themselves towards one of these pylons and gone for 6. Is what it is. The question's been answered though. We're the question's been up in the air after week 4 or so, who is the big dog when it comes to receivers. I think Mariner, especially last week, man. That defensive offensive play, right, where Pickett's thrown by Danny Etling, and then Mariner just rips it out of the defender's hands at the last second to actually make it more so a catch. Fantastic stuff. And this is also, gotta say, I went back and looked. This is the second week in a row that he was targeted the most out of all receivers. This is twice as many than even Trey Quinn, who has been on the squad. Trey Quinn catching his first touchdown last week. Perhaps it's Colonel Warren right here. Again, not sure how many of these went to him in the form of catches that were made but called back because of flags. So, Toa right here, still 8 total attempts, 26 yards, average of 3.3 per. I am forced at this point to quote the old, 3 yards, cloud of dust, get your first down every time. This is also against historically a pretty good, pretty stout Stallions defense. I mean, if we're just looking at bam. Oh, here you go. Team stats. Total defense, second, passing defense. Oh, actually dropped down a little bit there. Rushing defense here. They are the best in the league. This is, of course, going by rushing stats. Best in the league by only 6. They and us are tied for least amount of touchdowns. So that's pretty darn good. Okay. So fantastic job. Tip of the cap right here on our running backs getting through, just weaving their way and finding yards where it seems like there really isn't. There really is not too many. So fantastic stuff. Other takeaways here. Colburn should be in this week. He was limited last week in practices and whatnot. I think it's fair to say limited for he was sat for health reasons, right? The Colburn is definitely a player that we want healthy for the divisional championship this upcoming week, the one that actually matters. Taking a look. Yep, there you go. Taking a look, right, Chonder, playoff topics. So preview, blah, blah, blah. Standout stats where I went through there. Player of the week for the... So again, can't have the conversation. So I assume Manor going to get player of the week. I'm splitting it, though, giving partial credit to Walter Palmore, this guy right here. Fantastic, has been in the NFL and is stacked like it. It's kind of funny because I have Seriously Mariner here, and it kind of looks like he's looking down on Walter Palmore, which is ironic because 320 pounds and Walter Palmore is not a short man. It's kind of ironic. It's like calling the big guys who have the nickname of Tiny, right? Little irony for you. that's going to be about it from for the review preview and whatnot. As far as playoffs, I feel like I've talked about this a whole lot. The writing on the wall is this: we need to come forth here, have a similar kind of game. Perkins needs to start, and obviously as long as he's healthy, this is something we'll be monitoring about, and I'll talk a little bit about the betting segment in a second. But as long as Perkins is healthy, do exactly what you did right here. I'm almost glad that Birmingham didn't have a whole lot of like on-field experience with Bryce Perkins, and we did with Adrian Martinez. I feel like that's going to translate a little bit here coming into the playoffs, and I'm pretty happy with it. With that, though, that's going to be about it for our regular segment here. We're going to start the betting segment here in just a second. I know that some people, they don't really like that so much. So if that's not your job, then go ahead and turn it off right now. No qualms about that whatsoever. Just quick, like, subscribe, all that cool stuff. FBI_tugboat on literally everything. That said, getting on into our betting segment and the numbers.
The numbers, basically. What do they mean?
What do they mean? Folks, before we do, of course, if you are underage, live in a state where gambling is illegal, or sports gambling is illegal, or planning on gambling intoxicated, or gambling with money that you do not have or cannot stand to lose, then you can get out! That said, let's get on into it. Here we go. Obviously, these are all from DraftKings as well. I'm in Vegas. I use real sports books. So this is not exactly what I'm using, but actually the numbers right here, at least on the spread and total, is the exact same for what I have. DraftKings definitely seems like the more like nationally used book and whatnot, so that's why I am using it. I don't really like where my camera is. Let's actually get it like a little bit bigger there. There you go. So actually, you know what? Even bigger than that. Let's see how the people like it. Let's see how the people like it, and this way I can, right? All right, there you go. Folks, let me know how you like it. Right? We're always taking comments and stuff like that. But here are the lines. Saturday. These are 12 p.m. Pacific time. East Coast to be 3 p.m. Right? Michigan Panthers visiting Protective Stadium here. Just took the Stallions to a 1-point loss. Could have very, very, very easily been a 2-point win had Jake Bates obviously nailed that. Has shown that he can do it from the distance. It was just the accuracy and outside that is the problem. Over under stuck at 43 right here. Pretty, maybe like a little bit low. We've seen like 46, 47 like the DC game last week and whatnot. Just like a couple of points, not a particularly lowest. I think the lowest we've seen so far this season was like 38.5. And here, Sunday, 4 p.m. Pacific. This is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. San Antonio Brahmas visiting the Battle Dome. Battlehawks winning that home field advantage off the victory last week. It was another 1-point game though. This last week did not fail to deliver. The Houston and Memphis game was the only one that was that was by a field goal or more. San Antonio snagging 3.5 right there. St. Louis laying at 3.5. Over under barely set more at 44.5. I'll take a game by game here, folks. I'm definitely taking Michigan plus 6.5. What we lost in week 2 to them by 7 even. That was. Yes, it was when we had Frank Genda. That was still when we were using a different quarterback. We were using E.J. Perry there for quarterback. Thing of the past. Much better running quarterback here with Bryce Perkins. And the Birmingham Stallions rush defenses looked kind of abysmal against San Antonio. Their one actual loss, right? And then we came forth and had a pretty good rushing day here on the week 10 or on the past week 10 preview of the USFL Divisional Championship. 6.5. Feeling pretty good about this. I would, though, so I'm filming this on Monday. I would need this number to stay the same and for Bryce Perkins to get a clean bill of health by, say, Wednesday, maybe Thursday. Obviously, Friday is usually when they're going to be traveling for a game on Saturday. I would monitor this right here, but Bryce Perkins playing plus 6.5 feels great. Even if Birmingham wins, that's a solid little margin. Obviously, a touchdown or just a field goal ahead. And I could also see us, if you replay this entire game and you gave Jake Bates like another, 53-yard field goal attempt and we win by 2, I could definitely see that happening. I feel like this is going to be a close game. I also do not know, obviously, how much Skip Holtz, the head coach of the Birmingham Stallions, didn't put on the field. How much he was holding back for himself, right? Adrian Martinez obviously started. I didn't see any massive starters here. Marable, obviously. Jay Sternberger, their wide receiver core. Outside of anybody who was unhealthy or not who wasn't healthy at the time, I didn't really see anybody. Matt Colburn for us, obviously we held on to Bryce Perkins. We only played a little bit. Again, plus 6.5. Feel great about that. I would have to before I lay anything serious in this, I would have to see Bryce Perkins healthy coming into this week. As far as totals, guys, I didn't even talk about last week. My goodness, I always do this. I haven't talked about last week. I had a perfect golden week in week 9, right? 4-0-1, one single push. That was the, I actually think that was Michigan at -4, and they won by 4 in week 9. That sounds right. And the total that I took in week 9 hit. I've been avoiding totals after disastrous mid-UFL regular season plays on totals. So I kind of, got a little bit back into it in week 9, hit. Came into week 10. You know what? I why don't I just say it right here? I have all of them. Bam. So I took Michigan at +8.5. Obviously covered. Lost by a point. The previous Brahmas +4. They lost by 1 or 2, I think. Obviously that hit. Arlington won by 2, so Arlington +2 did hit. Arlington at DC over 46.5. This mega hit, I believe the ending score is like 64 or 65 total. That mega hit did parlay Arlington, DC over 46.5 with St. Louis and San Antonio under 43.5. That total was like 36 or 35, I believe, something like that. So a little bit of a sweat, but felt good about it, especially given that it came down to the field goal there in the end for San Antonio, them missing it. Even if that had added up, I think it would have been 39 or 40, maybe 41, something like that. Still would have kept under, so felt good about that. So that parlay hit. That did cover the Houston money line bet. I was thinking -1.5, and then it just got to the point where I was like, I don't trust this squad to win by 2. I could have easily seen Houston down by a single point. Excuse me, I could have easily seen Houston down by a single point, or down by 2 or whatever, or down by 3, kick a field goal to go forth, and then either lost it in overtime or won by a single point. Didn't feel good about it. I put the money line down. It was like obviously -110 on the points. So it was like -130 or 135 or something like that on money line. I was willing to give up that point. Right there, but for them giving it away, felt good about it. Did not hit it, so we're looking at a 4-1-0 week. Did lose the one. Cannot call it perfect weeks back to back, which personally, as a gambler across any league, I have not done. Never had a perfect week. Every single pick back to back. Really was looking forward to it. Houston definitely had the opportunity and kind of. Hey, we're not previewing that game, right? That was the toilet bowl in every way, shape, and form. They hats off to John DeFilippo and the Memphis Showboats. Maybe I should just say the Memphis Showboats because who knows about it? Who's going to be coaching either of those two teams? The absolute, just dumpster fires, honestly, got to say. Anyway, last week was really good. We're looking to recreate some more this week. As far as the total, gun to the head, I'm leaning under 43. But part of the reason why I'm saying that is because of this past week, and we left so many points on the board, right? There was 5 flags total in that drive. Any of them could have ended in a touchdown. 2 of them actually did, and the flags called them back, right? So, given that I was 19-20, a touchdown would have put us at 45 at the absolute least, which would have hit the over last week and would have hit the over this week if you just copy and paste it, which obviously you can't do so much. Yeah, the initial is leaning under 43 right here. I'm actually going to go over 43. I could see this being a shootout and like a single interception by both sides, for either team to take the lead throughout. But the consistent pressure forcing teams to score all the way out here. I'll get it. I'll recap this with locks and whatnot. But leaning over 43, definitely taking +6.5. Again, just prefacing it with making sure that Bryce Perkins is healthy and good to play this game. Moving on to Sunday here. San Antonio Brahmas visiting the St. Louis Battle Hawks. San Antonio has had a fantastic defense in weeks past. St. Louis has had A.J. McCarron on the field. There was a little bit of back and forth. I'm sure a lot of y'all saw that. Seems like pretty famous clip of the defender coming up, talking a little smack to A.J. McCarron. A.J. McCarron, get your goofy ass back over there. And then also some not so funny talk at the end with A.J. McCarron kind of not really indirectly accusing a defender that he came up to, the captain on the San Antonio Brahmas squad, I believe, of going after his ankle, right? A.J. McCarron injuring the ankle, and week 7 or 8, I believe. Kind of tender, did play, obviously, in this previous game, being like, oh, yeah, hey, I think he was, like, saying, like, hey, you're doing your job, right? Good job. Hey, real good. Like, kind of, like, talking shit and being like, hey, you should feel great about yourself going after, a part of my body that you know is injured. I got respect for AJ McCarron. I don't really know if that was the case or whatnot. It is what it is. I don't like this. Hang on. There you go. That looks a lot better. Cool. So San Antonio beat out St. Louis, the Birmingham Stallions. Obviously, that was after they'd secured for the one loss. I think obviously Birmingham would have loved to have an undefeated season. Not going to happen. Not going to happen because of the San Antonio Brahmas. Initial reaction is San Antonio a lot at +3.5. If this was +2.5, I would not feel as good about it because I could definitely see St. Louis coming back, tied game, kick a field goal for the W right here, or another defensive battle. That's exactly what we saw last week. Again, I think it was like 19-17, 19-18 for a 36 or 37 point total. Definitely feel better about the under right here, especially given that San Antonio's lost their star running back McFarland weeks past. If obviously he's coming back right here, I don't think he went to IR. I'm not 100% sure. This is another one, and it sounds like a cop-out a little bit. I'm filming this on Monday. You guys just wait until like Friday, honestly. Thursday night maybe, and to get confirmations about who's playing in this game. I don't believe AJ McCarron took any more like fat hits and re-injured the ankle or anything else like this. If he's not playing and this line stays the same, sell your house because this is literally just what we saw. Sell your house, put it on the San Antonio Brahmas. You'll be able to buy 2 on Monday morning. Taking a look at the under, taking a look at the over/under. I do feel better about this under 44.5. Again, it just depends about who is playing. If you want to just play it safe, honestly, -180. I don't really recommend anything under, like, with worse odds than like -200. Really, -180 obviously is getting just a bite more than half your money back. Personally, I have futures on both the Birmingham Stallions and St. Louis Battlehawks. I'm gonna be looking in books to try and get like a little bit of something. Like, this is preseason stuff, so I got Birmingham thinking like +350. I got St. Louis at like +450. I remember right. Like, so a little bit more laid on St. Louis than on Birmingham. We just talk about units here. We don't talk actual prices because I don't like telling people how much I'm betting. To be honest with you, a lot of people who live in Las Vegas, like myself, do not like saying that. So, sorry. If I could find +800 on Michigan, like some other shows, some other books have talked about, I would definitely take a little something on that. Probably like half a unit there. Full unit was the preseason for both San Antonio, or for both St. Louis and Birmingham. And then Brahmas, it would really just depend, I guess. Anything like a Michigan Panthers +800, definitely like half a unit on both of those, given that be making at least 3 times, and that's at worst with Birmingham right there, and so you'd be losing 2 units on that, given the full unit on St. Louis and half unit both of Michigan and San Antonio. And again, that's assuming a San Antonio line of like +800 or thereabouts. I thought San Antonio was actually higher than that. I saw somebody in a chat talking about on another one. Big shout out to the UFL Gambling Podcast and all the hardworking folks over there at the SGPN. Somebody in chat over there was talking about San Antonio. I think they said +1250, which just doesn't make any sense, especially given that Michigan is worse underdogs against Birmingham than the San Antonio Brahmas are against the St. Louis Battlehawks, unless that's just like saying that that San Antonio would have no chance against either of these USFL teams, which I just don't think you could really say is the case. They literally beat both of us, right? Yeah. So, any hoodles, taking San Antonio with like a little bit less confidence than the +6.5 on the Michigan Panthers. I definitely feel better about the under 44.5 right here. I would, man. Again, injuries, and I'd have to make sure that some of the defensive starters on both of these squads are playing and whatnot. More so San Antonio if we're talking about totals. But under 44.5, I'm feeling good about this. If I had to take like 3 of these bets, obviously 2 of the ATSs and 1 total, I would definitely take the under 44.5. And other than that, it's all underdogs. +6.5 Michigan Panthers, +3.5 San Antonio Brahmas. I want to say wait for injury reports and stuff like that. But guys, this +3.5 line for San Antonio is going to move. If anybody who's not just betting on the St. Louis homer and stuff like that. The question to be had is, like, say, home field advantage. San Antonio literally just played there a week ago, and they did well. They came in, and they didn't win that game simply because of the field goal, right? If San Antonio had taken home field advantage, it'd be an interesting conversation what this line would be at here. And if it was the exact same, that's a different story because St. Louis just gets so much from home field advantage with 35, 36, 38,000 or whatever there. Fantastic stuff. Also, in case you didn't catch earlier, Birmingham, we have got to see people show up for this. Like, we've already given you, like, the mini shame fingers. You would get mega shame hands or whatever for a piss poor turnout attendance-wise here for the USFL Divisional Championship. Something fair if we want to give it a parlay here, a little parlay. If you didn't like San Antonio and you just wanted to take St. Louis, I would say the minus 180 parlayed with the Michigan Panthers plus 6.5. If you really wanted to get wild with it, St. Louis money line under 44.5. Michigan Panthers. I don't really feel too great about this total right here between Michigan and Birmingham. That's where I'm going out. Lock of the week. Lock of the week. I don't want to make it Michigan just because that's the home team, right? But yeah, I mean, we have precedents for this, and we have multiple players that did not play for the Michigan Panthers in this previous game, a game where we lost by 1 but very easily could have won by 2 if you took everything and held it constant. If it was just a copy and paste, which obviously it will not be. Lock is, splitting it. I already split the player of the week stuff. During the regular episode. Lock is split between the Michigan Panthers plus 6.5. And San Antonio and St. Louis under 44.5. This has been the Michigan Panthers Picks podcast. I've been your host, FBI_Tugboat. I want to give a shout out to all the fine folks over at the UFM. Here we go. Bam. There we go. Bam. Folks, if you like the UFM, you like spring football, we have at least one person covering every single one of these teams. We also have talk shows. We also have gambling shows like this one. This graphic does not have H-Town Pick'em with Coach Kovo. Fantastic, folks. They had me on there. That was for week 9 when I went 4th and 4-0-1. I call it a perfect week because one was a push. I guess a truly perfect would have been 5-0-0, right? I lost no money in week 9. How about that? I almost can't, and I lost no money, period, whatsoever, right? No, like, winning this bet and covering over on this bet or anything else like that, right? Whereas I did, obviously, in Week 10. No perfect weeks. Anyway, folks, sorry about that. Battle Talk, Promise Bullpen, DC Defenders Show, Defending Football, Hellraisers Podcast, Polar Opposites, of course. That is more the talk show right there. Roughnecks Rundown. Taking a look at the captain's log. Sink or Swim, another one of the another gambling episode right there. We have to check out Brandon and Captain. My Captain over there with the captain's log. Stallion Runs and Buck and Scout. Tell me about another talk show right there with Arik. They had me on as well. I did Polar Opposites, an episode of Polar Opposites where with Arik and KB. It was a fantastic time, and obviously here the Michigan Panthers podcast. Folks, appreciate you watching. I'm FBI_Tugboat. You can find me literally everywhere: Discord, Instagram, all kinds of social medias. FBI_Tugboat. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, all that fun, cool stuff. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you on the flip side.